Okay, we're live. So we don't have a viewer yet, but when you guys rewatch this, we'll be here. So I'm Ashley Ross here with the one and only Joy Taylor.
Hey!
I have been shadowing Joy all day. It's been fun. We did Undisputed this morning, shot the podcast. So for those who don't know, Joy Taylor, amazing host of Undisputed, has her own podcast. Maybe I'm crazy. So I just wanted to kind of like talk more about who you are, because I feel like we see you on TV, but I just want to know, like, who is Joy?
Who is Joy? Well, I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I lived there until I was 18.
But you're a Dolphins fan.
I am a Dolphins fan. So that happened because, well, for several reasons. Obviously my brother played for the Dolphins we played in the NFL for 15 years, for the Dolphins for 13 years. Played for the Jets and the Redskins for 1 year, but we don't talk about the Redskins here. The Jets year was a great year, though.
Shout out to the Jets.
Yes, AFC Championship game. It's been a long time since the Jets have been back there.
But fumble.
Yeah, I mean, he was the quarterback.
Really?
Of those teams. So that was Sanchez's claim to fame with Rex Ryan. But I grew up in Pittsburgh, and I'm a Dan Marino fan. Dan Marino went to Pitt, and obviously,
okay, that makes sense.
The Dolphins. So I started as a. You grew up as a Steelers fan in Pittsburgh. I still am a Steelers fan, but like my heart is with the Dolphins. So that's kind of how that works. The way I do it is I like get invested in the Dolphins for like the first like 5 or 6 games, and then they're out of it every year.
Totally,
and
like
then
going
I just transition into the Steelers.
How did you feel when they brought Jay Cutler? Like, how did you really feel?
I like Ryan Tannehill as a person. Like, I think he's a nice guy.
But he's just not like that quarterback to take you to the promised land.
No, he's not. And my opinion, like, as an adult, is like nice is overrated. Like, nice is cool. Like, I want a nice nanny.
I don't want a nice.
I want a nice like mother. I don't need a nice quarterback. Like, I need somebody who's. I mean, you can be nice and be a good quarterback. I guess. But it just doesn't have to do. One doesn't have to do with the other, and I just don't know that Ryan Tannehill is that. I don't feel like Ryan Tannehill is that guy. I mean, they've had many other issues the Dolphins have over the years that are not just Ryan Tannehill. But Ryan Tannehill went down, and your options are very limited. Jay Cutler, like, I'm not a Jay Cutler fan. I didn't think he was the right fit. But he had his best year with Adam Gase in Chicago, so that was kind of like the pitch. I
felt bad for Matt Moore. Like, I know I just feel like he was there in the trenches for them, and then it kind of looked like, okay, he was going to be there when Ryan was gone, and then they're like, oh, Jay Cutler, come back.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Moore, I like Matt Moore a lot. He's
but it goes back to like the nice. He's nice.
No, but Matt Moore is a good, solid backup quarterback, and he probably should have gotten the job. But I think, the head coach felt like he needed somebody with a little more pizzazz or something. I mean, they had to sign somebody else anyway, because Tannehill was out for the year. I really felt like Kaepernick would have been a good fit there. There were some issues, obviously, with Kaepernick and the Miami media when he wore the Fidel Castro shirt, which I feel like is like that's a whole other conversation. But like, I think I felt like Kaepernick would have been an option there too. Jay Cutler, like, it was what it was. When Ryan Tannehill went down, the season was over. That's just what it is.
And speaking of Miami, because I know my Joy research, so you got you kind of got your like name for yourself in the Miami market. So you actually came from the radio background.
Yeah.
So how was that transition? Like, did you know you always wanted to go into TV?
I went to school in Miami at Barry for broadcasting, and I just love radio. Like, radio is kind of how I started. When I got to Barry, I started at the student radio station there. Shout out WBRY. And just kind of like, messing around in the studio. It's obviously it's student radio, so it's a great place to like make all your mistakes and learn how to run a board. And so that's kind of where I started, and I just fell in love with radio. And I just started interning at different radio stations there, and that's how I got into the business. And a lot of people start in sports radio, and it's actually a really great place to start. And the format really prepares you for live television more than I think anything else, because radio is hard to do. Like, it's a morning show is what I did, and that's 4 hours of live talking. Completely unscripted. Like, there is no script, so you better have something to say. So it's really good training for live TV, because the thing about live television when it comes to sports is, and it's really like all formats, like it's people complain about the same songs being played on the radio. It's like, Yeah, they are playing the same songs on the radio because no one is sitting there listening to the radio for 6 hours. It just so happens that every time you get in your car, like, that song's going to play because it's the most popular song. It's like, play the hits. That's what you have to do in TV and you have to do in radio. So you have to be able to, like, repeat. You know, like, we repeat topics on Undisputed because there's a new audience. So it's, like, very inside baseball what I'm saying right now. But, like, it's really good training. So, like, I actually, like, encourage people if they want to get started in business to look into starting radio.
So, like, for you, how did the whole Fox thing come about?
So I was hosting a sports morning show in Miami, Zaslow and Joy show, and basically, like, it was time for a new contract and an agent, basically, and the Fox opportunity came up, and I went for it and got it.
And then, and you've been doing how long have you been doing the podcast as well?
The podcast we started at the beginning of football season, of the last football season, so I guess September.
So for those who don't watch the podcast, like, how is the podcast different from Undisputed?
I mean, it's completely different. Like, one, the format is not TV format, it's podcast format, so we do shoot it, so it's on YouTube, so you can watch it, like, as just, like, a long form content, but it's really more, like, of my personality, like, you know,
I would say
Undisputed,
that.
like, I'm the moderator and host, so, like, obviously if I have an opinion, I weigh in when I feel like it, but, you know, it's a very structured show, and, you know, it's TV, so the format is completely different. Like, we have hard outs, we have breaks we have to get to and stuff. We don't really have to deal with that on the podcast, and our content is a little bit more, you know, digital friendly. You know, we talk about a lot of, like, the trending videos that are out there. You know, we have the Migos Cultural Report. You know, we can get into movies and, you know, music, and all of those things, like, tie into sports. One, like, influences the other all the time. So that's more of what we try to do on the podcast.
So, like, when you're not working, what do you do? Because you kind of strike me as the person, like, when you're not working, you're probably, like, sitting home with your wine and Netflix and just chilling. Like, you really strike me as that kind of person.
Yeah, I'm a big chiller, especially at this point in my life. Like, I'm tired a lot.
She gets here at, like, 3 a.m.
I get here at 4, yeah. Like, I
Yeah.
get up at 3 every day, which is, like, the middle of the night. So, and
do you go to sleep? Do you go to
Not
sleep?
really. It's hard to sleep because, like, that's not a normal time to get up.
Yeah.
I've been doing mornings for a lot of years, but, like, if you get up at, like, 5, it's not as bad because, at least there's, like, a chance sometimes that you might wake up early. You're never randomly waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, oh, time for my day to start. So, like, you have to wake up with your alarm clock.
Do you take a nap after the show?
If I can, yeah, I try to. But, I mean, you just don't get good sleep. Like, there's just no way. And then on the weekends, like, you're kind of thrown off again. So Mondays feel like a disaster because you've not adjusted to the getting 4 hours of sleep. So yeah, you don't get a lot of sleep, but it's a sacrifice, you know, you make, and that's what it is. Like, that's the business. I do get off at 9 a.m. usually, unless I have a podcast or, you know, I'm filling in on the herd or something like that. So
yeah, I mean, that's not like the worst work day in the world. Like, your day usually ends at what, like 9, 10 o'clock?
Yeah, like 9:30. Well, 9 o'clock. Undisputed is over. I'm usually out of here at 9:30 if I have nothing else going on. So, like, actually most people, if they thought about it, would probably take that schedule. So if you go to bed at, like, 9 o'clock, you know, which sounds super early, but, like, it's not really that early.
Yeah.
Nothing, like, if it's a work week.
I tried to go to sleep last night. I was like, oh, I'm going to go to sleep at 9, and, you know, I'm going to get up at 3. I went to sleep so late. I was like, how does she do this?
It's hard. Like, if you don't have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, why would you go to sleep at 9?
Yeah.
But, like, people who have kids and stuff, like, they just get to bed early, you know, like, you're tired. So being done at 9 a.m., it's a trade-off, especially on the weekends. Like, you kind of get a 3-day weekend on Fridays.
Okay, so wrapping it up, what can we expect? Obviously, we know we see you every day on Undisputed, the podcast. What else is and then I have a final question.
Okay.
But yeah.
You know, we're trucking along. I hope you guys check out the podcast. We post it on Tuesdays, and yes, maybe I'm crazy. You can watch it on YouTube. Follow us on all our social media pages at Maybe I'm Crazy Pod, and then obviously Undisputed, 6:30 to 9 Pacific time. Monday through Friday, and, you know, just grinding it out right now. But I love what I'm doing, and I love being a part of the FS1 family, so I'm glad you could hang out with us today.
Thank you.
I hope
Okay.
everyone was nice to you.
So my final question, when it's all said and done, what do you want, like, people to remember about you? Not, like, in broadcasting. Like, what kind of person do you want people to remember you as?
That's an interesting, like, remember.
Well, like, what kind of impression do you want to leave with people?
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is to just, like, be fun and authentic. Even with Undisputed, you know, it's different because it's, like you were just saying, like, I changed and I'm, like, in a hoodie and stuff. I'm not in my...
and the nicest J's. I'm going to take a picture so y'all can see.
Yeah, it's difficult to come up right now. Yeah, I mean, just be authentic. Like, it's hard in this business to really, like, sometimes stick to your brand. Mm-hmm. But for me, like, I got into the business because I like talking and I like, you know, communicating with people. And it's fun. Like, it's like definitely a pressure business for sure. And it's definitely show business. But, you know, through my career, like, I have a, you know, a specific goal in mind, and like I think the biggest thing for anything, like whenever you pursue anything, is to just, you know, stay focused on that specific goal, rather than, you know, trying to do everything. So I just want people to know, like, that I'm, you know, an authentic person and fun person, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
No, I'll leave with this. So so before today, I was a huge fan, and so I like looked up a bunch of your stuff, and I remember watching. I think you were given like some kind of like graduation speech or something somewhere. You were on like a podium. I think you were in like, these are like Miami days or something. And you were talking about how, you know, like the biggest way to be successful is if you have a goal and like really sticking to that goal and like not wavering. And that just really stuck with me.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. We're gonna have to dive into my YouTube videos. I'm not sure what speech that was, but yeah, I mean, that's I
think you were addressing like a broadcasting class or something, and I feel like they were in Miami because
it was definitely in Miami. Yeah, yeah. I mean, so like for me, my whole life changed when I figured out the concept of energy, and it was like we were talking about it before the podcast today because I watched this documentary on Netflix called The Secret, and it's about the law of attraction. And it's kind of deep. Like if you're not really messing with like the vibes and stuff, like it's not for you. But
yeah.
On a more simple level, the way to, like, I can explain it is, like, I was, like, out of college. Wasn't really exactly sure what part of the business I wanted to get into. I really just needed a job to, like, pay bills. Like, I didn't even care if it was in the business at that point. Like, it was just, like, a really, like, low transitional point in my life. And the advice I got was just, like, why are you surprised that you're not on the path to success, or you don't have anything that you want, when you're not putting any of your energy into making that happen?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if it was just like where I was in my life and like everything that was happening, but everything was just like, oh, and it made sense because it's not like people ask you like, what do you want to be in 5 years? Like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And like, it's such a broad question, but it's like, so the question was like, what do you want for yourself in the next like 2 to 3 years? Like, do you want to get married? Do you want a new car? Do you want a house? Do you want a job? Like, what is something that you want? And I was like, I want to be full-time on air on a radio or TV show in the next 3 years. And that's when they were like, you're not putting any energy into that, so why would that happen for you? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like time, it wasn't like money, it was energy. And like, if you understand the concept of like, whenever you like are on a phone call with somebody who like sucks for an hour, and you're just like, after you get off the phone with them, you're like so drained.
Yeah.
And like, that's your energy, like they've sucked your energy, like, it's just, everyone knows what I'm talking about, but like it's hard to explain. So if you put everything that you have into what you want, it'll happen for you. Like it's just the way the universe works. So everything just clicked for me, and like at that point I was like, okay, this is what I want. Nothing else matters. Like if I need to pay bills, cool, I'll get a job that works like with that schedule so that I can focus on like making that happen. And I was full-time on the show in a year and a half. So like it really, really, like focus matters and energy matters more than anything else. Like if you want to be a doctor, you're not going to like go to school for law because that doesn't help you. If you want to be a doctor, you go to school to be a doctor, and then everything else that you do aligns with being a doctor. Like if you want to be a lawyer, you do that. If you want to be in broadcasting, you do that. If you want to be an actress, you should probably go taking acting classes and like go to auditions. People get distracted with all these different things because like you have to pay bills and stuff, and believe me, like I understand. I there was like a month and a half straight where I worked every single day as a server and bartender so that I could have the afternoon shift to work at the radio where I was making like $8 an hour.
Yeah.
And you have to balance everything in your life, but if you focus, like everything will come for you. So to me, like that's the biggest part of success on any level with anything that you do. And you know, I realize it's difficult. Like trust me, I've been there, but to me, it just.
But I think,
everything.
like you said, and honestly, I feel like that's what I've experienced in my life is that if you set your mind on a goal, even if you have like setbacks, like when you look back at your life, because I always look at how things are pieced together, it's like the things that you thought were setbacks are really just like setups to get you to where you are, because maybe you needed to lose this job, or maybe you needed to be, have to work 7 days to see like, oh, I can really do this. And
right.
I feel like it's all connected, and I've even seen that like in my life where it's like, okay, if I want this, like I have to put all my energy into it and charge ahead, and it's just like all these great things are happening, like you said, because it's that focus that like kind of
feels like a sacrifice at the time, or it feels like it might be like like you lose a job or something, it's like a disaster, and then 3 years down the road you're like, holy crap, like thank God that I'm not at that job. Like that's happened to me where I've been like in a position where I got laid off or something, and I'm like losing my mind. Yeah. And then now looking back, I'm like, if I stayed at that place for another month, like my whole life would be completely different. So, and like probably not in a good way. So yeah, you have to take everything that comes your way, and just deal with it, because down the road, as long as you stay focused, it'll all end up being, it'll end up working out. But for me, like that's the biggest thing. And I still have to remind myself of it, all the time, because there's always going to be people that come into your life that try and like mess that up for you, or things that happen that just like change the whole course of your existence. But if you have a goal and like you really just focus on that and keep your eyes on that, like it'll come to you. So that's probably what I was saying in that speech. But I tell everybody that, because people ask all the time, like how do I get into business, what should I do? And like on a micro level, like I just think deciding what you want to do like is the biggest part. Like all that other like focus and energy and stuff, like you can apply that to anything in life. Like if you want to get in shape, if you want to get this particular job, or you want to graduate college, or whatever it is you want to do. But like for this particular business, I always tell people to decide what it is you want to do. Like if you want to be a producer, you're going to have this path. If you want to be a executive, you have this path. If you want to be a host, you have this path. If you want to be a reporter, if you want to be an analyst, if you want to be in the front office, if you want to run a show, there's so many different jobs in the business. And if you know specifically what job you want, you may take these other jobs to help you get experience, which I think is super important. But you won't lose sight of what you really are trying to get. And making sure that people know like this is what I want to do long term. Like I'm learning how to produce, which I think everyone should learn how to produce. It's super important. It'll make you a better talent, but I'm learning all these elements of the business, but everyone I'm working with knows like this is what I want to do. And so I'm also, compensating it with, doing social media or running a blog or whatever else. So I think deciding what you want to do helps tremendously, because that way you don't get distracted by taking all these like random jobs that aren't really like helping you get to that. Because then I think too what happens, and I've had to learn this, is like when you feel like things aren't going right, then it's like, okay, maybe I'll try this. It's like, no, like I wanted to do this, I'm gonna stay the course. And obviously like you can change your mind, but if you know your vision, you have to like stay to it. Even when things are kind of don't look as bright, it's like, okay, just stay in the course, stay the course, stay the course. I did not get lucky. I hate when people say like you get lucky. Like, no, didn't get lucky. I worked really hard, but I did work and networking is huge in Miami, like tremendously. So I did all my internships there. I stayed in touch with everybody that I worked with there. So I was able to get a job in Miami, which is a big market. So, but I mean, I have a lot of friends that left Miami, from school to go like to a smaller market and then came back. And that's the path that a lot of people take, and that's good. You'll get a paying job and you'll get experience, which is the biggest thing that people want, is experience. So, I mean, you should look at everything as like an opportunity to grow, and it's a fun business to be in. It's really, really crazy. And
maybe I'm crazy.
Yes, it's really crazy, and it's definitely show business. Like it is the same as that. I mean, it's ratings, like in numbers, so that's like anything else, but it's a good job and it's fun, and we talk about sports all day long. Like,
what else could you watch? Joy's gems. Joy dropping gems today. We were like going to talk about Joy, and then Joy went into like Chopra. Yes. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Follow Joy. It's Joy Taylor Talks, right?
Yes. Joy Taylor does talk.
All right. Bye, y'all.